Hi, welcome to Math for All, where everyone can learn more about math. We are continuing our riveting studies on lines. Today, we will learn about the slopes of lines, what they mean, and how to figure out the slope from a graph or two given points. Before we start on this slope endeavor, please go to my website, MathforAll.net, and print out notes that have fill-in-the-blanks that follow along this video. Then you'll be listening more intently. You'll have instructions for later, and it will just make it more fun. And honestly, that is super important in math. Let's just make this as fun as possible. Let's think about this word slope. It reminds me of a downhill skiing slope. But slope can describe a slide, stairs, skateboard ramp, or the side of a mountain. Anything that goes up or down at a constant rate. The slope of any of these is a number, and that number tells us how steep it is and if it's going up, positive, or down, negative. Well, that was a fun little diversion talking about things that can go up or down, but now we must snap back into reality and discuss what it means in math. The main way to describe what slope is a little ditty called rise over run. Huh? That's kind of weird. Let me translate. Rise, from one point to another, how much it goes up or down. Run, from the same points, how far over it goes backwards or forwards. Rise over run. Let's do a few on a graph to get a feel for what the slope numbers mean. We'll go from this point, -2, -3, to this point, -1, 0. Remembering our rise over run, we choose one point to start at. I like to start at the point that is farthest to the left, but it really doesn't matter. Starting at -2, -3, I find out how much rise there is to get to the other point. I can just count up until I'm level with -1, 0. 1, 2, 3. Since I had to go up, it's positive. Rise 3 goes on top. Then how many do I have to go over from there to get to my second point? Just one. He goes on the bottom for my run. The slope of this line is 3. Here's another one. We'll find the slope between -1, 1 and 3, 2. Starting at -1, 1, I count my rise, going up 1 to be level with the second point. +1 on top. Now, for the run, hop on over to meet up with the point. I must go over 4 forward for a run and bottom number of 4. The slope for this one is 1/4. We'll do one more like this, and then we are going to make some critical observations. -2, 3 to -1, -1. Starting at -2, 3. My rise to get to the other point is 4, but I had to go down to get there, so it is considered -4. That goes on top. Now for the run. Go across 1, positive, and he goes on the bottom, so his slope is -4. You did great on these. Just be sure to count correctly for your rises, falls, and runs. And make sure to remember when to put those negative signs in. Some things to notice on what the slope can tell you about lines. Positive slopes, like on these two lines, go up from left to right. The bigger the slope, 3 versus 1/4, the steeper the line. See how that blue one is steeper? Slopes closer to 0, the flatter the line, like the red one with a slope of 1/4. Negative slopes, like in these two lines, they go down the ski slope. As you're reading a book, they go down. The smaller the slope, as in more negative, like -4 orange versus the -1/5, the steeper. The closer to 0, the flatter the line. As you can imagine, Many times we will not have graphs with the points on them to be able to count our rise and our run. We will use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember that the y's go on top. The reason is that the rise, or how much it goes up and down, is the difference between the y values, and the x's tell us how far they go across. Let's use the formula as we figure out the slope between these 2 points, negative 4, 2 and negative 2, 6. Label one point, point number 1, as x1, y1, and the other point, point 2, as x2, y2. It really doesn't matter which points are 1 and 2. Here's what I mean by labeling them. We can just put these on the bottom like I did. I only say on the bottom so I can do my rainbows on the top. Also, this step is optional. As you get more used to this, you may not need to label the numbers. Okay, let's get back to it. Subtract the y's first. y2 minus y1. I like to do a rainbow from the y2 to the other y1, and I remember to start farther back. For our example, we have 6 minus 2 equals 4. That is our rise that goes on top. Next, subtract the x's, x2 minus x1. Rainbow again, starting backwards. Negative 2 minus negative 4 is really negative 2 plus 4, which equals 2. That's the run, and it goes on the bottom. Simplify our fraction. Reduce if possible. If there's one negative sign, pull it out to the front. And if there are 2 negative signs, make it positive. For us, our 4 over 2 equals 2 over 1, or just 2. Nice job. Let's figure out the slope between 3, negative 5, and negative 2, negative 7. We'll label our numbers x1, y1 because they are the x and y of point 1, and these are x2, y2 for point 2, like this. Rainbow from the second y to the first y. Subtract. Negative 7 minus negative 5, like this. Then we do math. This is the same as negative 7 plus 5 for an answer of negative 2, my rise on top. Next, we do a backwards rainbow for the x's, negative 2 minus 3, for an answer of negative 5 on the bottom. To simplify, negative 2 over negative 5 cannot be reduced, but you must know that a negative divided by a negative flips it to be a positive. So we need to write the answer as 2/5, up to over 5. Great job. I hope you were able to follow that along pretty well. You can see through these examples that as long as we remember what number to put where and we do the math right, we will get the right answer. With practice, this will become easier and easier. You won't even have to think about where to start. It'll be natural. So your homework will be to go to my website, MathforAll.net, and print out a worksheet that has more practice problems of finding slope between points on a graph, as well as finding slopes between 2 points. I am sure if you are careful with your numbers, you will be super successful and really understand how to find slope. Then, come back and watch other videos to learn more about math. See you next time.